What is up, everybody? Welcome to Front and Center Ice, presented by Run Pure Sports. I'm your host, JC Zargo, joined as always by Nadesify.
What's going on, man? How we doing?
Not too much. How you been this weekend?
Been good. Got playoff football. Got a big NHL slate tonight. It's been good. Had some winners last night in the NHL streets and NBA streets, so it's been good over here in Run Pure Sports, and looking to keep the winners rolling.
Hell yeah, that's what we do. Both Matty Ice and Tanner Smith are out today, so we got Jared Kimball joining us. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm excited to get the winners rolling. Had a good week. Got another $1,000 qualifier ticket last night, so excited to keep that rolling, and hopefully we pick some good winners today for the 13-game slate.
Love it. Yeah, huge slate today. Got an hour as we got Hardwood after us.
The morning show for the playoff.
Yep. So we're gonna try and keep it to a tight hour. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Calgary Flames at Dallas Stars. Not really covered in most people's fantasy in the slates. It's more the late slate, but I just want to touch on it real quick in case we got any Flames or Stars fans coming to join us. Both teams are playing 500 hockey. Can't really find the rhythm. Thanks to some OT losses, though, both teams are doing fine in the standings. Honestly, I'm just taking Calgary in the under. Both teams trouble scoring. Keepers look great. Unders is the way to go here, and I like the Flames to win outright. Jared, do you want to add anything real quick to that?
Yeah, just real quick. Obviously not on the main slate, but in terms of bets, the Stars are coming off a pretty disappointing loss against the Rangers. If no one saw it, K'Andre Miller scored with 0.1 seconds left to take it overtime, and then the Rangers scored like immediately in the overtime. So they're kind of coming off a disappointing loss. I think an interesting one would be under 1.5 in the first period. Flames just had two matchups also against their rival, the Blues. So two tough tests. So I think both teams could sleepwalk here in the first period for sure.
I like it. Like I said, try and get through this slate. So we're going to move right on ahead. Next game I got on my slate is the Ottawa Senators at the Colorado Avalanche. Senators, they're no longer the walkover they once were earlier in the season. Colorado, though, they've fallen behind Nashville now in the standings as things just continue to get worse for them as this season progresses. Going to be an interesting, though, might be a little tighter game than people are anticipating. So what do you see in these two teams, Nadesify?
Yeah, I like this game quite a bit for DFS, and it's not going to be on the Avs side. I slammed the Avs last game. They came through for me. Obviously, McKinnon just gets there in shot volume alone, so he's always in play just because of the bonus, right? He's averaging nearly 7 shots a game last 5, so he's always in play for me just due to his floor, right, and his floor upside or ceiling combination, right? Rantanen, same thing. Cale Makar, obviously, everyone knows these studs on Colorado can be played any slate here. But looking at the numbers, Ottawa does allow the least amount of shots on the road per game last 5. And on the flip side, Colorado has not been playing great, right? So I think these top 6 for the Sens can go up against anyone, I think, in the league in terms of star-studding power. So give me the Sens here. I like this top line in Brady and Timmy Stu and Big Cat. To be honest with you, their price tags are very reasonable. And I mean, they all have good history against the same Colorado squad. And I think they can be a low-owned pivot, a low-owned stack here with just as much upside as majority of these other teams on this slate, in my opinion, outside of obviously who we're going to talk about. Probably the chalk of the slate later coming up is likely Florida. But I do like the Senators here quite a bit, and that's where I'm at in this game.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. Riding with the dog in this one. Given the way Colorado's been playing, can't really argue with that. Jared, what's your take on this game?
Yeah, I'm actually on the flip side. I love Colorado here. So sorry to go against you. They actually had a team meeting after the disappointing loss against Chicago. I don't know how much you want to put into that, but I think it's good that they're obviously having their leaders step in and be like, look, we need to to win and get this right. So I love going to the big dogs here. After hearing that, I think if you can try and fit McKinnon and Ranton in as much as possible. I know it's difficult because of their prices, but I am definitely interested in it. I think they each probably hit 5 shots each. They'll be chucking here in this matchup. An interesting thing that I saw too is the Ottawa goalies on the penalty kill since December 1st have a .957 save percentage, which on the penalty kill is pretty wild. And I'd have to assume that would regress over the time because they're taking about 3.5 penalties a game. So I think if you're giving Colorado that many chances here, I think they're going to pot a few in the net. And I wouldn't hate taking their money line. I think it's -155. I think if you want to bet on this game, take it. But, I don't think it's necessary here.
I think my best bet in this game is actually going to be the over 6. The same matchup last game back in December, early December in Ottawa, obviously, but it was 6-5. And that's when I believe Colorado was still dealing with more of the injuries. So these two teams have shown to get up and down the ice and score here. That's why I like the price tags on the Senators myself personally, because I think even if Colorado does win the game, right, McKinnon at 9,400, Rant at 8,100 on a 13-game slate, unless those two account, which very well could happen, right, for all the goals here, it's going to be hard for them to kind of need the upside that you need to fill out a roster on DFS. But obviously, on the flip side, to Jared's point, right, they're going to be lower owned because of those price tags. I just think the Sens could score here. And I do like teams coming off an embarrassing loss, like losing to the Blackhawks, right, for Colorado. But I don't know how much I'm going to weigh into that because these Sens, I mean, their top 6 is just as good as anyone in the league, in my opinion here, from a star-studded power standpoint.
That's fair. I don't think Georgiev is scaring anybody.
Right, exactly.
I was really on the fence that game, so I appreciate you guys giving me no clarity. But I do agree. Over seems like a solid play here. Little shaky, I could see like a shutout happening. I mean, Ottawa scored 5 in their last game against Arizona, got shut out in Nashville prior to that, but then put 4 on Seattle. So you don't really know what you're going to get from the squad, but I would definitely lean over as well. But it's pretty solid takes, which come from, got the opinion coming from both sides. We'll move along, though. Next up, we got Detroit, who's coming off a huge win against Toronto on Thursday. They're taking on the Blue Jackets, who have allowed 12 goals in their last 2 games, 6 in each. Jared. My bad little muscle memory on that one. Jared, any reason to consider Columbus here?
That's fair. I mean, he's my roommate, so we're usually not that far away from each other. So, this is probably the biggest discussion of the slate. Obviously, Detroit's in a great matchup. They're home. These guys are going to get slammed into lineups. If you didn't know that, now you do. And it's probably going to be Detroit 1. Larkin's pretty cheap at $6K. And then you got Bertuzzi and Raymond still at 3.7 each. So it's going to be really, really easy to fit this Detroit 1 stack in, especially with Raymond coming off of 2 massive games, 31 and 23 in the past 2 since Bertuzzi came back. I think the problem with this is because it's going to be so chalky, I think I am probably going to try and get to a different stack in this. If I would go to something, I'd maybe look at the second line here as an interesting one with Rasmussen, and then I believe it's Kubalik and Perron. I think that one's an interesting pair of 3, especially with Kubalik and Perron on the first power play for them. I think that could be interesting. And then we have to look out for Hronek. He might not play in this one tonight. So I would love, obviously, Seider and Wallman. Wallman loves to chuck the puck, and I know we play him a lot here at RPS, so I think he would definitely come into play for sure if Hronek missed. I think going to the Columbus side is interesting too. I think that it's possible that Boone Jenner is back tonight. which is great for this Jackets team that is just struggling immensely.
Yeah, he got activated from IR, so it does look like he's back. Yeah.
So we'll have to see what the official lines are later. The one thing about going to their side is I am worried that he's going to be a little rusty coming off of IR. But maybe down the line that Jenner line, a Goudreau line is definitely going to be one we might start looking at a little bit more than we have been at Columbus recently.
Fair enough. Now, Nate's man, something we always talk about are the box score heroes, the game log lurkers, people who just kind of look at that stuff and make their bets off of it. Red Wings, they scored 11 goals in their last 2 games. However, 3 of them are empty netters. That's something you don't really know just by looking at the box score. So keeping that in mind, how do you look at this game from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, I mean, if you tell me they didn't have a shot at an empty net goal here, I think you're crazy because it's the Columbus Jackets and they can't stop a nosebleed. I don't think they could hit water if they fell out of a boat right now. They're just a bad squad. I mean, poor Johnny Hockey is ended up in this dumpster fire of a franchise. Obviously, Boone Jenner. I love Boone Jenner. He's a stud, I think. Him coming back is going to help. But, I mean, he's been on IR, right? So how rusty is he going to be? To Tanner's argument, or Jared's argument, sorry. It's just a Tanner show, I guess, today. But to his argument, I mean, Dylan Larkin at 6K, I mean, I don't care how much his ownership's going to be. I mean, he's a stud. He's 6K flat. I mean, he has the opportunity to break a slate. And, I mean, it's one of those things, if you don't have him, you're screwed, right? It is a 13-game slate. So on his counter argument, like, stuff always gets spread. Edmonton's on the slate. It doesn't matter if Edmonton is playing against the national team, right? They're always going to have ownership just because everyone loves to slam. Connor McDavid, Leon, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins is playing good right now. So everyone loves slamming those guys. I mean, you got some heavy favorites like the Wild, right, that are nearly minus 400 faves on the slate facing the Yotes. I mean, so there's other spots that people are going to go to. So you can specifically get different with your secondary stack with these guys. I mean, or leave one of Bertuzzi or Raymond off. Personally, I'd leave probably Bertuzzi, but that's probably the chalkier route. It's just Raymond's playing great right now, and go maybe like a Larkin, Raymond or Bertuzzi. Pick one of them, and like a Wallman or a Big Mo Sider, and just not full line stack it because the optimizers are going to full slam this line stack. So leaving one of those line stacks off, which obviously on the flip side, you do that. It's always that guy that scores when you break up a line stack in your rosters. But that's how you can cut some of the ownership there. It's just hard for me to get away from these guys. One guy too, I did like that second line take from Jared, but Robbie Fabry is third liner. He's under 4K. He gets power play run. He has a goal in 3 straight games. Obviously, one of those games against Toronto, he sat out. So he has a goal against Florida, Winnipeg, and Toronto. All 3 very good teams. And he scored in all 3 of those. He is someone I wouldn't mind. He's shooting right around 3 times per game last 5. Obviously, he's only played 5 games. But that's where I'd look. I don't mind that. Looks like he just came out in January. To start playing. So that's a good piece too, that you can even add to that stack, right, and get it lower owned. So
fair enough. So just to summarize there then, still like Detroit minus 1.5, that's offered at plus money. Now where do you sit on the over under? Because at risk of it being a 4-0 game, do you really take the over, but are you confident enough in Elvis and Husso to ride the under?
Yeah, I mean, so Husso's in that. He's been good. So I don't know if I really lean. I mean, he's got a 2.9 goal against average on the season, almost a 0.91 save average, which is pretty good. And now he faces these dumpster fire Jackets here. But the Jackets do have some talent. I will give it to them that can score. It's just going to come down to, can these guys score and not be chasing these wings around the ice, which is kind of crazy to say, right? We're saying chase the wings around the ice in 2023. But it is true, right? They've been good. They're playing with fire. So I don't know if I think the over in the last game that we talked about is a much better play. But I wouldn't hate it because, I mean, you got Delaney, you got Gaudreau. You got guys that can score. Even Nyquist can score on this Jackets team. So could give it a look.
Yeah,
I would lean the under actually.
Okay.
I like Huso. He's been solid, and if people look at his box score, he gave up 5-3, 5-4-4 in a few games. But he was playing Winnipeg, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, and Tampa Bay, which are all four really great offensive teams. And then he bounced back against Toronto, only gave up one goal. I think he can definitely hold them to it. I could see this being like a 4-1, game here.
Yeah, for sure.
One call out too, Fabry. I know Fabry, however you pronounce it, right? I'm obviously terrible at that. Everyone knows that, but he's only plus 205 to score. So that just tells you Vegas is onto this guy and onto this matchup. Because I mean, at a 4K player, you don't see plus 205 to score. You're usually seeing plus 350, 360, stuff like that. So that's just an eye out. If Vegas is onto it, could be a good look on the DFS side here.
Yeah. No, and that 1.5, like I said, I'll probably play, but this was a tough call for me because, I mean, if you watch that Toronto Red Wings game, like you never know which team you're going to get, and it changes from period to period. Like in the first period of that game, they owned time of possession. They were putting shots on net like crazy. Then the second period, they couldn't touch the puck. So this Red Wings team, man, I mean, we've seen it all season, just hard to predict. Never really know what you're going to get out of them. So that's why it's more of a stay away for me. But we'll move on. But before we do that, be sure to hit that like button. We're here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, breaking down the entire NHL slate. We'll normally be at 9 a.m. on Saturdays. I know there's a bit of confusion with that. But with NFL playoffs, some other moving parts, we kind of bumped to later in the day. But, of course, you can always just watch the replay on YouTube. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll be here 3 Eastern. Nadesify, man, you got that cool little code down there by your name. You want to give a little plug?
Yeah, we're running a special right now on the DFS side. RunPureSports.com, all sports, one price. Code NADESIFY15 does give you 15% off your subscription, whatever you do choose. It does include our partner at SaberSim for the optimizer, which is an absolutely incredible optimizer, best in the industry, in my opinion. I use it for every sport. Even though I hand build for hockey, I still look what the optimizer is kind of spitting out. Same thing for other sports. So RunPureSports.com. Check us out. We do have monthly, yearly subscriptions over there. Code NADESIFY15 will give you 15% off. And yeah, check us out. Big time in sports with playoffs. UFC today, NHL, NBA still on the docket, MLB right around the corner. We always got the winners over here.
Yeah, man, we even got golf going on. Just whatever you're into, no matter what, we got you covered. It's a great time to join. I put out a lot of free articles so you can get your picks there, but there's a lot of other information to be had, especially the daily fantasy. That's all behind the paywall, so you got to join to see that in the Discord. The Discord is definitely the best part about the Run Pure membership because anything you're debating, there are guys, myself, Nadesify, Jared, Tanner, Matty, I ready to answer any and every question, betting or DFS. It's a great community. You got to come join. But moving right along, a game there's not too much to talk about. The Islanders, they're looking for a win after losing 4 in a row. Sorokin's in net. He's been fantastic. He just can't get any support. Islanders a heavy favorite, but knowing they struggle to score, is that just a stay away for you here, Jared?
Yeah, this game I'm not very high on for daily fantasy purposes. I thought it was possible that Sorokin wouldn't play because I think he's played their last 10 games. So I am surprised they're rolling him out there. I would have maybe had a little interest in Montreal if he wouldn't have been in net. I mean, he is always possible for a blow up. We know that sometimes he just lets 5 goals in. But here I'm just gonna probably lean off this game and just go to other places on the slate.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's stat we're throwing out there. Sorokin has allowed 2 goals or less in his last 5 games, but the Islanders are 1-4 in that stretch. So it's not worth taking the money line and certainly not going to take the puck line. So from a betting perspective, absolute stay away. Nadesify, man, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, this is one of the nuttiest matchups in DFS, but the only issue is it's the New York Islanders, and upside is very capped, and you don't know where their scoring is going to come from. I mean, they're deep. They're a deep hockey team. That's why they're a very good defensive hockey team. And those guys can score. I mean, you got JPG on the third line that can score with anyone. Um, so I don't love this game. It's a 5.5 total, 13 game slate. I think it's an easy cross off, but I wouldn't fault anyone for grabbing a one off or a mini stack in Islanders because they're going to be unknown in and out matchup. I mean, Montreal's given up 6 goals per game on average last 5, which is absolutely insane. I mean, 6 goals in a hockey game is insane in general, and that's just on the one side, right? So, the only issue is it's the Islanders, and they're happy to get out with a 2-1 win against the worst team in the league. So, or one of them. So I don't love it, to be honest. And
Yep.
we can get back on track here.
Yep, love it. Yep. No doubt, just a tough one. No real reason to dwell on that game with such a huge slate. So next game I got is Flyers Capitals. Flyers won back-to-back, including a shutout of Buffalo. But the real storyline here, Ovi hasn't scored in 4 games. Is he due tonight, Nades of High?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. My boy Carter Hart is back. He's playing well. He's cheap as well on the DFS side, so I'm going to have some interest in him. I mean, he's just got the ability to stand on his head and shut other teams out, regardless of who's on the other side. Even if it is the grade 8 himself, Ovi. Can you play him? Absolutely. It's Alex Ovechkin. He's not the grade 8 for no reason, right? He's chasing obviously over 800 goals, 803 or something. I think he's still at 804. But he's 9K. So you're playing him over McKinnon, Rantanen, McDavid, Leon, Barkov, Tkachuk, like all these studs. Kaprizov, Kirill the Thrill is almost 2K cheaper than Ovechkin in a nut matchup against the Yotes. So, I mean, is he going to be low owned? Absolutely. Can he break any slate? Yes, he can. But I don't know if I get there. He does have decent history against Philly. Obviously, they've seen this Philly team 3 times this year already. So it's always, I mean, Philly's won 2 out of the 3. So it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. But it's going to rely on Carter Hart here in that, and I think he can do it. From a DFS perspective, I don't love too much about this game, even though both teams are great home road respective at scoring, but on the flip side, they're pretty good at limiting goals against. So I think defense shines in this one. One call out, TK Travis Konechny on Philly is absolutely on fire. I mean, he is just literally a walking flamethrower gif. It is tough to go against him. He's 7,900, which for his production, you could argue he should be 9K, 8,500 to 9K, right? So you're getting some value there. He's shooting right around 4 times per game. I mean, he's coming off a 7 shot on goal hat trick against these same Caps last game in Washington. Or at home, but now he heads into Washington, so they can dictate matchups a little bit more. But I mean, even in the first game, he was still involved. So you can play him. Outside of that, don't love too much about this game. I just think it's more defensive, and they try and slow each other down here.
Yeah, fair enough. I will say, man, I'm kind of looking at the odds. I just feel like it's a complete improperly placed line. I mean, Flyers plus 180, I think is a great opportunity here for bettors. However, I will absolutely be on Ovi to score at minus 106, basically even money there. That's kind of how I'm looking at this game. Jared, man, what do you have?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Nazify on this one. I think that, they just saw each other a few days ago. 5-3 game. I think, they're going to make adjustments. And I think it could play as a little bit slower game, as he said. I won't fault anybody for trying to take a stab at Ovechkin or Konechny because, both of them have had unreal seasons. So, doing a one-off of them and hoping that they maybe get, 2 of the 4 or 5 goals in this game, I can't fault anybody for doing that. But I think a lot of these guys are priced correctly, which, in DFS, we're looking for misprices. and trying to avoid situations where these guys might be priced right. I did have some interest a little bit originally in the Backstrom line a little bit, but I think they're probably going to take the task of shutting down that Konechny line. So I could see Philly line of Frost, Tippett, and JVR maybe having a little more success, but on a 13-game slate, I just don't think you need to go there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, let me hit on Michael's question here. Yeah, absolutely. He's a Philly. He lives there in Philly. Can't stand the Flyers. I don't fault him, but they are playing good hockey right now. Absolutely, you can one off anyone in that line, in my opinion. And it would probably be Konechny or Farabee, in my opinion. Farabee is 3,800 and skates with them on the top power play, so that's some good value. He's playing good hockey right now as well. Obviously, that whole line is. So one hit a one off there to hit on his question there in the chat.
Love it. Cool. Moving right along. Penguins, they're playing back-to-back. They hosted the Jets last night. Now they head to Raleigh to take on the Hurricanes. So we all know that means you got to take Carolina first period. That's paying out at plus 132. But Nate's a fine man. Is there any reason to not also take the Hurricanes money line?
Yeah, this is one of the best spots as well on paper in terms of DFS. I mean, it's green on green on my sheet that I put out for the members over here at Run Pure Sports. The only issue is Carolina literally has the Waterboy score for them every night too. So who are you going to grab, right? You'll stack the top line and the announcer will score, I guess, from the box. So it's tough, right? I don't know. I mean, and the second thing too is their prices are reasonable, which makes it even more enticing. It's the only issue is who are you going to stack or who are you going to get, and you just have to spin the roulette wheel and hopefully you hit the goals. I do think there's a decent amount of goals here, and yeah, I mean, Carolina first period over in goals, it's probably 1.5. I would take the over there, and then the first period puck line for Carolina. Both of those should be printers. Typically, you'll never go 0-2. 1-1's typically your best or your worst there on road teams on a back-to-back with travel. And now they head into Carolina, which is a very good hockey team. So I like that first period over and Carolina puck line as well. And from the DFS side, I like some of these Canes. Even the second line with Fetch and Stats and Nikas, Nakas is good. Again, pronunciation is just funny. Jarvis is 4,200. I mean, he's shooting right around 4 times per game at 4,200. He's top power play run. So he's a good value there. And Sebastian Aho. Aho's starting to heat up. He's still cheap. People haven't been really riding this guy. He's 6,300. So, I mean, you're looking for a Dylan Larkin pivot. Sebastian Aho is right there with very similar upside. And I love that quite a bit because, I mean, even Jarvis on the other side, 4,200. So, I mean, it's only a couple $100 more for the whole stack with like so you can literally go Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond to Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. For very similar upside at about a $500 difference in salary, and probably a quarter of the ownership. So I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I know it's really funny you call out the DFS prices because it's the same way on the anytime goal scorer. I mean, normally you got someone close to plus money in a game, but Svechnikov leads the way at plus 160. Aho's plus 205 to score. So I mean, really enticing on the betting side as well. If you really want to take a flyer, you can even grab Teravainen plus 300 or Brett Burns plus 390. Jared, what do you have on this game?
Yeah, it's funny you called those out. I was just looking at as well. There's 6 guys that are under plus 200 to score. That screams to me that they think there's going to be some goals in this game, and I would not be shocked to see that. It pains me to say since I am a Penguins fan, but I think Carolina could run with this one. I like the over for sure, as we were talking about. And that Necas Svechnikov line, I think, is due for a blow up. As I think someone mentioned in the playbook, their expected goals have been off the charts over the past month. and they haven't been scoring at the same rate as they're expected. So I could see them having a big game, and they will probably be the line since they're going to be dictating matchups. I would guess they're the line that they try to get on that Malkin line. And every single goal that came in that Winnipeg game was against the Malkin line. So they're struggling defensively. So I could see this Carolina line taking advantage of it. I'm not sure if it's their one or two. I don't even know if they know if it's their first or second line. But I definitely like it here in this matchup. And I like the over because Freddie Anderson is going to be in net, and he is just one game removed from being injured for a few months. He looked fine in that matchup, but it was against Columbus, and he gave up 2 goals on 23 shots, which isn't the best. So I could see him letting in a few goals here from the opposite side. But I'd rather pick off these 2 guys on Carolina. So Natchez and Svechnikov for me.
Yeah, one more call out on that game too. So Carolina played Pittsburgh twice in December. Jordan Stahl scored in both of those games. His prop is plus 330 tonight. So if you really want to take a flyer, that would be my takeaway on that one.
And Jordan Stahl on home ice is a real thing too, by the way. So
He is also a former Penguin. So
so a little revenge season there. So plus 360, that's a great call by Zargs. I got some other ones coming up here too that we talked about pre-show that I'll get to. But overall, Carolina, good plays here, cheap price points, good pivots off those Detroit guys in a much similar matchup.
So there you have it. Yeah, we're heavy on Carolina today. Next game, 2 teams looking for a bounce back after terrible losses. As we talked about, the Leafs lost 4-1 to the Red Wings, and then the Boston Bruins got shut out 3-0 by the Kraken. So one of them come out victorious today and hopefully can get a bit of a win streak started. Jared, we'll start with you, man. What do you have on this game?
Yeah, love these matchups. This has been a matchup that has been great for the past decade. Even some playoff matchups. So I think that this will be a fun one. I think this plays like a playoff game. So I could see it very slow. Obviously, Boston's a great defensive team. They've been amazing on home ice. And they're letting in top 5 lowest goals over the past 5 games. So it looks like Olmark is going to be in net. I like him a little bit tonight for DFS. It looks like Toronto's getting Matthews back, so that is good for their offense. But I still think this one plays slow. I would love to play Boston one. They're great at home, and it looks like they'll potentially move Pasta up to the top line with Bergeron and Marchand. They finished the last game like that. But I don't know, if you pay for all 3 of them, you're pretty much getting to close to half of your lineup, all being 3 guys from Boston. So I think that one's hard. So I go under 6, and then I just avoid this for DFS. Toronto 2 would be the focus if you're looking on that side, because obviously Toronto 1's going to get the shutdown. But Marner's only shot 23 times in the past 10 games. They're just not generating a ton of offense. And so that's why I'm leading the under and no plays for daily fantasy.
You're on mute, donkey.
Nate's Pie, what do you got on this one, man?
Put one on the whiteboard there for Zargs being on mute. But yeah, for DFS, I don't love this game. I think it's a playoff hockey game atmosphere, especially both teams coming off a loss, which I've been saying it all year. Kraken are a better hockey team than the league is giving them credit for, and it just shows that they shut this Boston team down, right? With Pastrnak, Bergeron, Marchand, like these guys are freaks, right? And the Kraken just owned them in every facet of the game. It wasn't even a lucky win. It was every area of the game they were better at, and that's why they won. From DFS, I mean, the last game back in November between these two was a 3-goal game, 2-1. I see it very similar here. So give me Allmark in net on home ice. He's 7,900. Toronto does shoot the puck 4th most on the road, so saves upside is there. But But overall, I think he can stop him. I think he can get away with the win in a 3-1, 2-1 type fashion. And that's going to be the best DFS play in this game in general. I'm not paying these price tags for these guys.
Yeah, no, I definitely lean towards the home team too, but I could easily see Toronto pulling out a win, so I'm staying away from it on the betting side. Cruising right along, another game I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about is the Canucks visiting Florida. Nate Defy, man, any reason I think the Canucks, who are on a 3-game losing streak, don't make it 4 tonight?
No, I'm on Florida heavy on the DFS side. Vancouver's just been literally look who they're playing and stack the other team. On DFS, I mean, it's very, very simple. It's especially, I mean, Barkov is 6,500 on home ice. Like, that is a joke. That's a ridiculous price. I mean, he can score. He has hat trick upside. Big Chucky, Matthew Tkachuk, 7,800 on that top power play. I mean, he's a great option. Looking at the numbers, I mean, Vancouver's allowing 4.2 goals per game last 5 on the road, and Florida's scoring nearly 4 per game at home. So that just bodes fantasy galore here. Will they let down? Probably, because that's just how hockey works, variance-wise. But I don't care. I mean, the power play matchup is absolutely elite. So the last 4 games, Florida's sitting at nearly a 50% cash-in rate on the power play at home. And Vancouver, last 5 games, is 71% on the penalty kill. The only issue is they don't give up a ton of penalty opportunities, but if they do, I mean, I don't see why Florida won't cash in at least 1 or 2 goals here on that power play. So I love them. Probably my top stack on the board when you factor in price in DFS. So I like them quite a bit, and that's where I'm at.
Sweet. Jared, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the over in this one. I think both goalies are pretty dog watered, so I would go with the over in that one. I agree with him. Love Florida stacks here. I think to get it interesting, you could go with the Bennett, Verhaeghe, Tkachuk line. They're actually 4.44 expected goals in 60 minutes, which is really high, which is great to see. And I was worried at first when I saw that Vancouver, since December 1st, they've taken the 31st least penalties. But then, you look at the other stats, and Vancouver's been 3rd worst on 5-on-5. So no problem at all for offense from Florida at all.
Fair enough. Weird way to say second most in penalties, but I like it. Getting different here on front and center ice. Yeah, love the overplay. I mean, it's 7, so that's a lot, but still, man, knowing how these teams can score, I think that's a great play. That was the only other thing I wanted to call out. Nate Defy, man, I know you're a big hater of Bobrovsky. So any concern there, knowing Vancouver's capable of popping off 4 goals, 4 or 5 goals?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, that's why I think I would just, if you're going to bet something here, bet the over or grab some of these goal score props or point props on some of these players, just because I do think there's goals. I mean, Vancouver's not great on the power play themselves, but Florida on the flip side is absolutely trash on the penalty kill. And they give up a lot of penalties. So, I mean, you put Pettersson and Horvat and these guys on that power play against this penalty kill. I mean, they can easily find the net 2-3 times here, and we could see a 11 goal, like a 5-8-5 or some crazy score, just because it seems like every Vancouver game shoots out. I mean, they've had a 7-6 game already this year. So, I mean, there should be a lot of goals here.
Love it. Fair enough. We'll cruise right along. Another game, no reason to waste too much time talking about. Biggest dog on the slate, Arizona Coyotes visiting Minnesota. I thought about it for a second, just because you got to look for the upsets in the day. I don't think the Wild are as good as the spread would indicate, but it is hard to imagine the Coyotes winning outright. Jared, man, you got any plays in this one?
Yeah, this is Minnesota. I mean, this is pretty simple. We love the Yotes on home ice. We hate them on away ice, especially if the first line's getting the Eriksson Ek treatment. That's not going to be pretty for them. They're going to get crushed here. Love the power play matchup, so I think you can do a little power play stack of Minnesota here. and I think that could get you in good place. The pricing is not awful either. They've priced Eck and Zuccarello and Boldy all down. So I think it's definitely possible for you to get, 3 pieces in from that power play on this matchup. And I think that's the way to go in this. I do like Boldy as a goal scorer, plus 220 for sure. And minus 1.5 for the Wild is definitely looking good as well at minus 135.
Say that last one again.
Wild minus 1.5 puck line.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, my puck line showing 2.5, but that's decent odds for 1.5 because I would say I don't feel strong enough to play 2.5. I don't like the over or the under in this one. So
I was shocked to see it at 1.5. So especially at minus 135.
Yeah, the minus 2.5 puck line is plus 132. That seems stiff. But knowing they could shut out, I don't really care for the over under either. So I have no place in this one. Decent one from Jared. What's that?
Go bet that on DraftKings now before it goes up.
No kidding. Nate Defy, man, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I mean, echoing what Jared said, I mean, the Wild absolutely should smash here. It's a great stack, especially at these price points. I mean, 10 games ago, we were playing over 9K for Krill the Thrill. He's at 7,700, so he's priced down even. Boldy and Big Zuccarello line mate to Krill is 6,600. He was over 9K at one point this season as well. Like, these guys should absolutely steamroll these Yotes here. It pains me to say it because I play these Yotes more than anyone. I know they've treated Jared well as well, shipping a couple live final seats for him. And they'll probably ship him a couple more and hopefully ship myself some coming up here throughout the rest of the season. It's just they never price these guys up and they always are good on home ice, but on the road, absolutely not, especially against the best, in my opinion, defensive line in hockey in the ACK line. So the only thing I could see some a little bit of motivation factor here from Clayton Keller. Got ejected last game on a cross-check call that was pretty weak, in my opinion, for an ejection, which kind of hurt the Yotes in general on home ice there. I mean, you get your player ejected early in the game on a kind of a bullshit call, in my opinion. I mean, they should have just gave him the 4-minute penalty and just called it good. And they give him a 5-minute major and game misconduct and kicked him out. So I could see him coming around buzzing. It's going to be tough though, because that top line is going to get the act treatment, and that's going to open up Krill the Thrill and Zuccarello just kind of skating free on the ice and skating circles around these guys. I could see Krill potential hat trick game here, and at 7,700, he's one of the best wing plays on the slate, in my opinion.
Love it. Man, not to jinx it, but we are cruising through the slate. Don't forget that like button for us. Next game I got here, another 2 streaky teams trying to overcome losing streaks. Buffalo Sabres visiting the Nashville Predators. Predators an odd team, man. They real slow start to the season, got hot, overtook Colorado in the standings, and now they've fallen flat. Lost like 3 in a row, I believe. Don't have that number in front of me. Yep. Cool. So I think it's a smash spot for the Sabres. I think they're undervalued. They're the dog in this one, which just seems weird. But Jared, man, am I missing something here? Do I need to give Nashville more love?
Nah, that's Buffalo. Buffalo has had a few games that have not gone their way. They lost 4-3 to Seattle, 4-2 to Winnipeg, got killed by Philly. I think this is a good bounce back spot for them. I love Tage Thompson here. It's going to be tough. He is 8-9 on a 13-game slate. Paying up for this Buffalo first line is going to be tough. So, I might end up not going there, but take the plus 115 for him to score. There's only been one other time that he's gone 3 games without scoring, and he followed it up with a hat trick in that 4th game. So I love him to score here. If you can fit it, I would love to go there, but it's not a priority stack for me. So yeah, if you're multi-entering, try to get a little Buffalo one here.
Yep, that was actually my call out as well. So Tage hasn't scored on this losing streak for Buffalo, and seeing him, FanDuel actually has him at plus 128 to score. It's wild. You almost never catch Tage at plus money. Easy smash spot here. He should rip up the Predators. Yeah, I know we don't always target those high dollar guys in DFS, but worth throwing a few bucks on that anytime goal scorer. Nate's fine. Anything you want to add to this game?
Yeah, Buffalo smash here in my opinion. It's a good matchup in DFS. The only issue is the price tags are expensive. I don't mind that Cousins line. I always like that line, or at least Cousins in general. I mean, he's 5,800, still gets that top power play run, still gets exposure. So you could do leave tag off, but that's obviously last time I did that, he scored 70 DK points. So he always has the upside to absolutely just dust the entire slate. Getting him at plus money is a great bet. Another call out, another look here. Nino Niederreiter.
Nailed that one, man.
Yeah. For Nashville here, plus 215 to score. I can see him potting one here. He has 2 goals again in the last 3 against the same Buffalo team here, and now gets home ice. Should have a little bit better matchup. I don't think he's going to be the one. His line's going to be the one tasked with slowing down this top line for Tage. But that's I don't mind that. And very interesting, Roman Josi. You almost get 3-1 at his anytime goal scorer, which is pretty crazy. I mean, he's the best defensive hockey player, or offensive defensive hockey player, I should say, in the entire league. I mean, that's why he's 8,500 on the DFS side, which is up there in price with the elite wings and centers on the slate. But he could easily find a goal here. Hasn't had a goal in 2 games now. And you're giving me almost plus 3-1 with a dude that shoots the puck nearly 4 times per game, in a favorable matchup as well here. Because Buffalo isn't world beaters on the defensive side either. I mean, they're an offensive focused hockey team. That's why their record is not great. I mean, you got a corpse in Craig Anderson and that, and UPL. Obviously UPL, in my opinion, is better than the corpse of Anderson. He is going to draw the start here, so that is a little bit of a worry. But overall, I 3-1 on Josi, Roman the Great. Is some pretty good value there.
If you're playing the Buffalo too, just make sure. I think Paterka and Quinn are flipping back into the lineup. They've been out for 3 games, so you know, just if you're playing that, make sure you flip it back.
And hitting on our boy here, Michael in chat, Golofsson, like as we like to call him here on the Run Pure Sports Discord. I don't mind that. I just don't like chasing a third liner. Scoring coming off 2 big games. Obviously, he's playing well. I'd like him if he was more at home, because typically I like third liners more on home ice. They see a little bit more ice time, a little bit better matchups, being able to dictate that. But yeah, if I look at the last game, he did score against Nashville, but it was on home ice. So wouldn't hate it. You can do that. But I think for 3,200, you can play a better one-off. That's in better matchups, like some of those, obviously the Detroit guys, they're chalky, but it's hard to ignore their upside compared to a third liner on the road here.
Love it. Yeah, it's funny you called out Nino Niederreiter. He actually has my favorite prop on the day. Hit over 2.5 shots is paying out plus 122. He's really getting involved in that offense and needing to get something going here. I think he put 6 shots on that last time. Real easy play there. Gotta love the plus money.
He's gone over that in each of his last 5 games. So that's good right there. He's averaging right around 4 shots per game last 5. So good call out there.
Appreciate it. Now a team that needs a loss is the Chicago Blackhawks. They host the Kraken today. They have climbed out of last place. They are currently tied with the Blue Jackets for the fewest points in the league. You know they want Bedard, so I expect them to lose today. Kraken, they're trying to turn the 7-game win streak into 8. Outscored opponents at a rate of 3-1 in this stretch. They've just been absolutely incredible. Nadefy, you touched on them earlier. So who do you like in this game from the Kraken?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kraken can get it done here. Obviously, they're a great hockey team. They're much like the Hurricanes at a worse player standpoint, but they're feisty players. They just score from everywhere. Is the issue is you just don't know who's going to score for them. I mean, you got Daniel Sprong, second on the team in shots per game last 5 as a 4th liner. Obviously, he's playing very good. He's 3,400. Gets top power play run too, just because of how good he's playing. is what I'm seeing. So can you take a shot? Absolutely. He is on the road. I do like fourth liners a little bit more on the road. That's kind of a good tiebreaker I use between third and fourth line guys is I'm going to side with who's ever at home or road, fourth liner being on the road with Sprong. Solid matchup there. Patrick Kane does look to be back. But if I'm the Blackhawks, I'm just tanking as much as I can to get the next incoming Connor McDavid. I mean, his stats are absolutely incredible in the AHL in Bedard. So it's a race to get him. And the only issue is if he falls in Chicago, sorry for him, because it's going to be tough. I mean, he's going to be demanding a trade after the first season, I think, if he cracks up to be what he is in the AHL. But overall, Seattle, good plays from a DFS perspective. I don't love it just because, I mean, they are the leading road scoring team in the entire league, last 5 at over 5 goals per game, which is incredible. The only issue is I don't know where their goals are going to come from. I mean, I have an idea, but I'm going to stack if I play the second line in Schwartz and McCann, I mean, the top line in Matty B and those guys are going to score all the goals, or Donato and Tanev and Sprong are going to score them all on that fourth line. It's tough. If you have conviction, go ahead and play them, because I do think they have a fairly good matchup here, and I don't see Chicago trying to win any more hockey games. I mean, they are playing good, but if I'm them and if I'm the ownership there, outside of the Houston Texans, I'm trying to tank as hard as I can. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Yeah, no. Seattle puck line can still be caught at plus money, so that's a real easy play. One player I like in this one is Andre Burakovsky. He's been really getting involved in the offense. Jared's shaking his head. I'm about to toss it to him. I think he likes him too. In this win streaks, he's had 6 assists and a goal. He's an anytime goal scorer at plus 270, but better is his point prop, which sits at minus 116. Real great play for a guy who's been red hot. Jared, man, what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, as Nathan mentioned, this team is hard to pick off who's going to have a good game. I have a little conviction. I like Seattle 1. I think Beniers is playing great hockey right now. He's in the thick of that Rookie of the Year trophy, and I think he's going to continue that tonight. He's looked really great. So I like that first line with him, Burakovsky, and Eberle. And you're probably going to end up getting a 2-man stack for the same price as that Larkin and one of the other Detroit guys. And so I like flipping that as a 2v2 and maybe getting a little different here on this slate. And the bet that I like the most, for some reason, DraftKings have the Kraken at minus 145 on 60-minute line. That's a joke. So slam that.
Fantastic play. I love it. Cruising right along here, see if we can close out in the next 10 minutes. A game that I was having trouble getting a read on. Nadefy's got a hot take on it, so we'll start with him. Tampa Bay Lightning visiting the St. Louis Blues. Take it away.
Yeah, I think the Blues can win this game on home ice here. Tampa's not been great on the road last 5, allowing over 4 goals per game. So I think, I mean, you're getting almost you're getting close to 2-1 here on the dog money for St. Louis. They're playing solid hockey. Kyrie's playing well. That top line and Big Bob Thomas and Buchnevich are playing good. So they're a solid stack option on DFS side. And then one anytime goal scorer I did have in this game is Anthony Cirelli, plus 270. He's got a goal in 4 straight against the same Blues team. So give me almost 3-1 on him to score a goal. I think that's a great play. But we'll go ahead and kick it over to Jared. Jared, what do you got in this game?
Yeah, I like that. I like the bold call. This one I'm probably going to stay away from DFS. I just don't have a clear read on it. Also, keep your attention on their lines because they finished with Stamkos, with Kucherov, and Point at the end of their last game. So it could be interesting if they do that again. And another call out is Stamkos is going for 500 tonight. And he's plus 115. If he's moving up to that top line, he's gonna get a ton of chances to pot his 500th career goal. So I don't hate that one for the narrative street.
Fair enough. Appreciate you guys taking over my dog.
Yeah. No, you're good. One other player prop I didn't want to give out from the last game, Tyler Johnson from Chicago, plus 360 to score. I don't mind that. He did have 2 goals last game against Seattle. Does get top power play run, and Seattle can be leaky at times, so don't hate that as well.
Right on. Another
5 minutes. Let's get it done. I said 5
Yes.
5 minutes. Let's get it done.
Let's go. Another back-to-back state. Another team on a back-to-back. Edmonton Oilers hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. No travel though, so our favorite first period bet does not apply here. I'm on the Knights in this one. Nathan, who do you have?
Yeah, give me the Knights here. I think Edmonton is on a back-to-back with travel, right?
No, they hosted both games.
No, Edmonton's on the road here, right?
They're on the road, yeah.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so Edmonton's on the road. So the bet does apply here. Vegas, first period puck line, first period over in goals, especially with these two teams. I mean, that should be an easy money. And yeah, give me Vegas here. I like Vegas. They're one of the top stacks in my opinion. Power play matchups is absolutely elite for Vegas in this one. And give me big Jack Eichel's line, the top line. He's playing great since returning from IR. I'm going to try and make some noise here. Everyone is throwing slander his way for the Tage Thompson and that whole ordeal that went down between Buffalo there. And look for Eichel to kind of really take that to heart here, I think. And we're seeing that a little bit here on his little stint he's putting on in these 4 games that he's returns from IR, and gets a matchup here with Edmonton on a back-to-back. They just dropped a touchdown last night, scored, went 7-1 win. I could see a little bit tired legs here. Obviously, they're always in play, right? The big dogs for Edmonton, they can score on anyone. But at their price tags, I'm going to just side with Vegas and think Vegas can get it done here.
Sweet. Appreciate you keeping me honest. Yeah, Knights plus 154 on the first period puck line. So thank you for calling
free
that
money
out.
right there. Free money. That's my best bet for sure.
It absolutely is. It's been fantastic. Jared, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I like Vegas too. I'm rolling with them. Edmonton's been playing lights out recently. I think this is a letdown spot. I like that first line too. Hard thing about it is when you're building it is Stevenson moved up because of Stone being out, and you have to use 2 centers for that position then if you're going to full stack that. So maybe just doing Eichel, Marchessault would be a better route there. I don't hate William Karlsson, Riley Smith as well. They have they've played a lot together over the years, and I like that connection for sure.
Right on. All right, last game, boys. Another game. These Devils, they are on a back-to-back. They took down the Ducks last night, 6-2. Now they head 20 miles up to 5 to take on the Kings at the Crypto.com arena. So we'll be taking LA first period, plus 166. But honestly, I'm tempted to grab the Kings on the money line. Jared, you can talk me out of it?
So this is one that actually Tanner wanted me to call out. He likes Kings minus 1.5, plus 215. So he's riding with you for sure. I like them as well. I was hesitant on it at first because New Jersey has been phenomenal on the road. They have a great record on the road. But that, you're going to see regression from that. No team, even if you're some of the best teams in the NHL, can be that good on the road. So I think they lose this one as well. In terms of pieces for daily fantasy, I just think on a 13-game slate, it's just not needed.
Fair enough. Nate, if I close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be, I wrote it in the playbook already that's published on Run Pure Sports for members. Jared will be tweeting that out for the link for all of you guys to check out if you are not subscribed. Remember, code NATES515 does give you 15% off. And we've had a lot of winners this week in NHL. A couple guys close to shipping the big contest on 2 lineups. Jared obviously shipping another live final seat for NHL. Congrats to him. Grabbing more tickets. So we've been riding hot. But in the playbook, I did say, give me the Kings side in this one. Do I think Jersey can score? Absolutely, because Jack Hughes is absolutely on fire. He is on that second line too, so he should have. It's going to be interesting what the Kings do with those banger forwards that they have in Kopitar and the defensive guys. Who they're going to put them on? If they put them on Nico or Jack, in my opinion, it's probably Jack just because of how good he is. But
That's
that
what
opens up.
most teams have been doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because he's been on fire. So, but he could see some time off of those guys, which would bode well for him. I mean, he's averaging 27 DK points per game in his last 5, which is insane. He's at 8K. So could you grab him? Go ahead. But overall, from a DFS perspective, I don't love it. Some of these Kings are cheap. So wouldn't mind some fillers there, but I think there's better spots on this slate. But yeah, give me the first period puck line, especially at almost 2-1 for the Kings. Give me that. And give me that first period over as well. And that's where I'm at. I think the Kings win this one outright.
Love it. All on the same page. Love to see it. Right at the stroke of 1, but we always got time for best bet. So before we get out of here, make sure you smash that like button. Jared, I'll let you start with you. And if you have anything from Tanner, give me your best bet on the day or favorite DFS play.
Yeah, his best bet is that LA minus 1.5 puck line. My favorite game bet is Seattle minus 150 on the 60-minute line. My favorite prop bet is definitely Tage Thompson to score plus 115. I put a ton of units on that. And then my favorite stack is Minnesota Wild power play.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm kind of torn here. But I got 2 great plays. Nino Niederreiter, as I said, over 2.5 shots plus 122 payout. And I'll throw a unit on Jordan Stahl plus 330 anytime goal scorer. Nades of eye.
Yeah, my best bet is going to be that Vegas Knights first period puck line at plus money. Give me that. Edmonton can't stop a nosebleed on defense. They obviously can score with anyone. So give me that. My best prop, not best prop, but a good value prop that I have and gave it out. Anthony Cirelli plus 270 to score. Goal in 4 straight games against the Blues. So I like that quite a bit. And then hitting on our boy here, Complex Kid in chat. Yeah, Dano is playing good hockey, 4,500. That's some fine value there. And then Greg, Devils power play. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. It does have a good matchup. It's just I like the Kings to win, so I don't know if I get there on a 13-game slate, but wouldn't fault you if you have conviction. So that's going to do it for us. I have nothing else, and I will kick it back to Zargs to kind of round us out.
Yep. I just want to call on that Devils power play. I know people are going to be tempted to jump on that after they destroy the Ducks 6-2, but the Kings and the Ducks are very different teams. I'm a big-time Ducks fan, but they are just sorry, so don't put much stock into that. Jared, anything else from you?
That's it. Good luck to everybody tonight. Hopefully we see a bunch of RPS logos at the top.
Fantastic. Yeah, love to see it. Love to see the RPS. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back Tuesday at 3 Eastern. Let's cash some tickets. Straight money wins money and run pure, baby.